All right, everyone. Hello, hello. Hi, my name is Shantelle Allwood. I'm with Triad Cyber Solutions. I'm the VP here. I just want to say welcome to week 3 of securing your business hardware and software. Glad to have you here today. I do have a few moderators in the chat, just so you all know. They'll be able to answer any and all questions you may have while we go through our session. Of course, just to let you know who to look out for, we have Will. He's our founder and our lead cybersecurity expert. Wasim, he's our technician, our network administrator. Micah is our operations manager. Shazma's our account executive. And Ralph, he's our marketing manager and web designer. But, he kind of has hands in all pots, so does Micah. We all kind of help out here in everyone's department. So if you have a question, one of them may respond to you. Awesome. Okay, let's see if we can change the outlook here. Perfect. And let's just go ahead and get started. All right, so last week, just to recap, we had a great session with Shazma where she talked about software, including the types and functions of software that you can use to secure your business, or how to secure other softwares that you use in your business. So if you missed it, no worries. You can always catch our recaps on YouTube, and we do post clips from time to time on all of our social media pages. So you can watch it whenever you have time. This week, though, we're going to talk about what happens when you don't secure your hardware and software. And believe me, it's devastating. So think of it like leaving your front and back doors wide open with just a huge sign that says, "Please don't steal the gold and diamonds in here. There's nothing inside that's worth anything except for everything." So you can guess how that story sort of ends, right? So holding on to that thought, not securing your business hardware and software is like leaving your doors wide open. And of course, there are always people just waiting for you to make those kinds of mistakes, right? They're watching you at first, and then sort of discovering your routine and your patterns, and then coming in and checking the doors, checking the windows, seeing where they can get in. They'll stroll right into your system. They'll grab your data. They'll spread malware, or they'll even walk off with your devices, right? If we're talking about like a physical location that's not secure. So you're essentially just inviting trouble right in. So one common way attackers can cause trouble is through something that's called SQL injection, right? Just a little tech knowledge here for you. It's when someone sneaks just a small, barely noticeable line of code into your system through a form or search box that could be on your website, right? So if your system isn't properly secured, this code can mess with your database, letting the hacker steal, delete, or even change really vital information. So, what you've done at that point by not having a system in place to keep those kinds of attackers out is you've given the burglar the keys to your safe without even realizing it, right? I'm sure not a lot of you have heard about SQL injection before. So, just a little tech knowledge for you. Um, so once an attacker gets their hands on your data, you could be looking at the shutting down of your entire business, or even paying like a fortune to get that compromised data back. So, to put it in perspective, the average ransomware payment so far here in 2024 has been a whopping 2 million. And that's ransomware directly to the attacker. That has nothing to do with any legal settlements. That has nothing to do with what it took to get their systems back online. That's literally what they had to pay in ransom to the criminal. So, I mean, I couldn't even, can you even fathom like taking that kind of hit and surviving as a business owner, especially in a small to medium sized business? Even if you just shut down temporarily, excuse me, it would have probably some pretty serious financial repercussions that could leak into your personal life, not just into your regular business life. So, I mean, if you think about it, right? I've seen some numbers on just like a 3-month scale of what happened when the lockdown happened. It was something like a range of 20,000 to $50,000, depending on various factors like industry and placement. So small and medium businesses, they lost, anywhere between 20,000 to $50,000 every quarter, right? Can you really expect your business to stay afloat if it's bleeding that kind of money? So there were just so many businesses who just couldn't recover at all from that, let alone a $2 million ransom plus some for anything else you have to fix, right? Um, so yeah, I mean, another thing that we should definitely look at when we're talking about, oh, I'll just leave it for another day or I'll just wait for cleanup, is operational downtime, right? This is where we kind of dip into what that means. Your entire business could come to a standstill simply because of unsecured hardware or software, or a combination of both, one or the other or both, right? So a data breach or attack could freeze your operations, leaving you scrambling to recover. I've seen it where you can't even get into your email to tell your clients that you're shut down. You can't access your CRM. You can't even call them. So now your clients are trying to call in or trying to get in touch with you, and no one knows what's going on. And that can cause some other things that we'll talk about as far as their relationship with you and your reputation, right? But this whole time that your business is closed, you're probably still paying rent on that building, because you hope to walk back into it one day, right? You're paying all of your essential staff just to try to keep like basic operations going, and you're paying for all of your system subscriptions, right? So whenever a ransomware attack, specifically, sometimes a lot of other, malware attacks happen, you actually don't know how long you'll be offline at all. You don't know how long an integral system will just not work for you, or how long it's going to take to get through support to whatever software you're using, or if you can even prove that it's you. A lot of those places have MFA now, right? So when you submit a support ticket, they're going to want to know, okay, like we might send a verification code to your email. Well, I can't get into my email. So how do I do that? Well, we can't help you till you get there, right? So there are a lot of start stops. There's a lot of round circles of I need this to get this, but I have to have this to get this type of thing. So um, all of this is something you'll have to think about when you are considering not putting any sort of security on your hardware software. And the scope of that as well. You can't just put like a basic antivirus anymore, right? It's just, it doesn't cut it. Things like Norton, McAfee, they're all great products to be used in conjunction with a very large scale cybersecurity infrastructure. And depending on your industry, those compliance standards, they do change, right? And when you don't meet those compliance standards, you can run into a lot of things like legal penalties, which, that's one thing that can get you in hot water financially fast. So you could possibly get torn apart in court if certain sensitive customer data gets compromised, and it's because a part of your system doesn't meet the compliance standard for your industry. We're talking fines, lawsuits, regulatory actions. Those could all pile up, adding even more strain to your business. This is because each industry has those cybersecurity compliance standards, and not securing your business hardware and software means that you were irresponsible. You didn't check all of the boxes. For example, a lot of CPAs are starting to get their WISP reports ready, right? October is around the time where they are going to need to start submitting their WISP reports to the IRS. Each industry has a sort of form of this. There are some industries who only do audits. So if you get into hot water with an attacker, they whatever compliance regulatory organization will run an audit. And if you're not meeting those standards, like this is where someone could sue you potentially and put you even more in the hole after, you pay a ransom hacker, right? So like I said, October is around the time where CPAs are submitting their WIS reports to the IRS. If their firm's WIS report doesn't meet the IRS standards, they're losing their PTIN. Okay, and the PTIN, PTIN, that is one of the most crucial components in any accounting business here in the U.S. at least, because it authorizes you to work on people's finances and to work with their taxes. So you get your PTIN revoked, you're done, right? You're not going to be a CPA anymore. I don't know very many people who have the funds, the time, the patience, or the connections to even be reconsidered to get their PTIN reinstated. Like, once you've crossed the IRS, there's little wiggle room on coming back, right? So that's, that financial piece there. Legal fees, you don't want to be in court. Another thing that comes with being in court is the damage to your reputation, right? All of a sudden you're a news story in your community. Let's entertain for a second that you do, right? You've got all of these resources and connections and all of that. Great, fine, you've worked hard, you've got a nice corporate nest egg, so you can afford to be out of work, you can afford to keep your office location while you're down, you can afford to pay a cybersecurity professional to repair your systems, you can afford to pay off the attacker, and you can even afford to pay your staff, right? That's great, right? That's awesome, go you. You might be able to pay a ransom to recover the lost data and manage the legal mess, but what about those intangibles, okay? Where we talk about the social element of your business and your community. What about those priceless factors that make your business the one to turn to in your community? Let me tell you something. Rebuilding client and community trust after a breach it's one of the toughest challenges. Once your business is hit, you not only lose customers, but you also face a giant uphill battle to regain their confidence, or even like the semblance of hope of them recommending you to any new clients, right? All they've got to say is, oh, yeah, I mean, I had to change all my credit cards because of that company, right? You're immediately associated with all of this negative stuff. You might as well be the hacker at that point, right? So it's one of the most damaging parts of not securing your hardware and software. Getting back on track can be incredibly tough. Building back up that reputation can be almost impossible. Whenever somebody, if it goes to court, right, going back to the last slide, whenever someone looks up your business, if there's a news story about it, they're going to find it. And things like healthcare information, I don't want everyone knowing that. I don't want there to be any chance that a hacker will have it. I want that peace of mind. The moment that it gets out that your reputation is damaged because you've had a breach due to your negligence, I wouldn't go to you. That's all I'm going to say. So that's kind of what we're facing here, folks. Okay, that's why we always say that it's better for your business and your pockets to be proactive and avoid being reactive at all costs at every turn. Because when you get hacked, right? And you will get hacked, okay? We can come in and get you set back up, right? It may be new processes or new systems. We can figure out a solution here at Triad Cyber Solutions, right? I can get Will on the case, but the hacker isn't the only thing that you need to be scared of. I would say even that you should be more scared about the aftershock. It's like an earthquake, right? So the hacker, that's that first big crack in the fault line, right? That's that big shift. It's the huge shake. Things like operational downtime, the legal penalties, the reputational damage, that's the aftershock. That's what will take your fractured infrastructure, the thing that's already lost like a little bit of its integrity, right? And it'll shake it and deliver that final blow. So do not let that aftershock take you down. Better yet, do not become a payday for cyber criminals, right? It's just better off to avoid that entirely. I mean, all right. Well, that kind of wraps up our session. Just one more session left. It's a big one. We've gone over what hardware and software are, why securing them is crucial, what happens when you don't. Now we'll dive into how to actually start protecting your hardware and software systems. So you make sure that you join us next week, same time, for our final session with our founder, Will Casterlow. He's going to walk you through the just starting beginner steps of securing your software and hardware and how to avoid a lot of the tough consequences that we talked about today. So I'm excited. I know you are too. If you have any questions about what we've covered in this session or any of the previous ones, please reach out to us. If you think you've been hacked, please reach out to us. We have tons of starter scans that we can offer you. We have our CSRA challenge that will be starting up in October again for Cybersecurity Awareness Month. We have tons of things that we can do to help you get started, or at least just know what your security infrastructure looks like, know how easy it will be for an attacker to come for you and your business. So we have a very active team on all of our social media platforms as well. They answer direct messages. And of course, we have a wonderful website, www.triadcybersolutions.com, where you can contact us through there as well. And even, maybe learn a few things about what compliance looks like for your industry. So otherwise, we'll see you next Wednesday, 3 p.m. Eastern with Will. Thank you. Goodbye.